Okay, hello. Just like the previous presenters, we are also very passionate about digital technologies, about design, innovation, experimentation, robotics, but also the materialization of these digital trends. Tiia, Vahula, Ljudmilla, Georgijeva, and Marjan Colletti. And our proposal is called POST-DIGITAAL Practices, which deals with globally important movements of bringing together the complexity of digital design and, on the other hand, the material world of analog crafts. And in Estonian context, we strive to contribute to the innovation and the modernization of already going on processes here, and to be really forward-looking proposal. And so, in the context of Venice Biennale theme, which deals with generosity and thoughtfulness and desire to engage, we kind of bring in some new innovation, new content, new collaborations, and new innovative processes into the local community, which is totally relevant to the overall theme. And as a showcase of these trends and of the vision that we have, we will produce an experimental and experiential pavilion, which will be digitally produced in clay models. So our main objectives, the things that we want to bring is, we don't want to look so much back. We look at what's already happening here, but we want to look at what's coming and what could be, not just what already is. So our proposal, we want to create a forward-looking and radical display of an emergent 21st century zeitgeist, which, as we already heard, is a lot about the digital technologies, but also the crafts and the materiality of these new innovations. And this is what's happening globally, but also these processes we can see already happening here. And so our proposal strives to be a kind of a catalyst for the local community of experimentations and practices, which will have then a long-term impact on the local development. And also we strive to bring in fostering the already going on practices, experimentations, institutions. We bring in knowledge from abroad and from the international community and international expertise. And the third objective is an experimental and experiential built pavilion as a one-to-one scale inspiration and showcase of what can these experiments and these trends and these digital possibilities actually give us. What is it all about? So just as a short overview, what our proposal consists of is a main exhibition which showcases the craftsmen and existing institutions and collaborations of craftsmen with dealing with digital technologies and digital design. The second part is the prototypical pavilion, which consists of 3D printed or otherwise digitally produced pieces, and deals with materiality of clay. And there will be an international conference that will actually broaden up and focus this crafts and digital tools merging and emphasize it to the broader public, and also open up new visions for maybe industrial producers and institutions and just broader public. That will also be achieved through extended programs. And of course, as a documentation of these processes, there will be a publication produced.
So we could ask, what is this post-digital practices, or what is post-digital? It's generally quite a large discourse, and it has been discussed for a while. So we could say it is sort of a synthesis that addresses the humanization of the digital technologies through participation, interaction, and collaboration, as well as mixing design and architecture with various other disciplines, for instance, fashion design, jewelry design, or robotics. And what we are trying to do is we look at, more specifically into clay. That would also bring a link back to Estonia. And we strongly believe that post-digital in context of clay would not resonate only with the Estonian public, but also with European and global public. So if we look at the clay, it's actually it's extremely beautiful and performative material, but the conventional way of seeing it is next to, like, there's a traditional material as clay, and then there's digital practices. And there's a long history in buildings and pottery, and there's a lot of research done in this material, but what we say is that if we put this traditional knowledge and digital crafts together, then we can achieve something even more incredible by basically widening up the field for experimenting with the size of ceramic, the tiles, work with a really high resolution or large scale, as well as basically the form, or the freedom of the form. Clay is the world's most widely used natural building material, and among the others, it's known as cleaning the air and being ecological, and a really good for conserving timber as well. So maybe there's a link for the last presenter. It's known as something that is good from economic, from social, and also from ecological values. Estonia already talks about clay, and not only also digital innovations, but what we are trying to do is bring it even closer to the general public by introducing, during the year before Biennale, introducing workshop lectures and studio visits in Estonia, where for craftsmen, kids, or general public, they could be held in museums, schools, public spaces. And it would also tie back to the topic of this year's Venice Biennale, free space, which talking about humanity, generosity, and thoughtfulness. And it will work as a catalyst for the future innovation in Estonia. So it would be pretty much like a feedback loop where we get sort of skilled people from Europe that will help us or give us their knowledge, and we would give them back our knowledge. It would be creating a network, a platform for further collaboration.
So this is the first, or the image of the first stage that thankfully gained the jury's attention, so thank you very much for that. I think it already showed that we have like this highly technological yet poetic ambition to look at innovation and to look at the future of architecture. We have, of course, developed it since, and apart from just adapting the coloration to a more Estonian hue and balance, also to somehow make this link to this, not just the flag, but also to this kind of fragile and yet so beautiful wildlife that exists here. We've also tried to respond to Grafton's statement about the Biennale, which was released not too much ago, where they say the role of architecture is to give shelter to our bodies, but also to lift our spirits. And I think we also took it quite literally, trying to lift the earth into the sky. That's why also the title Skywing, to literally lift relatively uninteresting material like clay, and through this post-digital manipulation to make it something much more noble and contemporary. We envision three major techniques or three major components, as you can see here, kind of discrete conoids, responsive tiles, and a robotically fabricated structure, which lies at the core of this project. And we will use different techniques. One is the digitally designed slip casting, which mixes the traditional way of creating clay or ceramic tiles, yet with the possibility of the complexity of 3D modeling that digital gives. High resolution 3D printing, which can also provoke, and through its precision, like really beautiful interfaces that can react and respond to light and so on and so forth. And on a large scale, also robots to deposit material on a larger scale. It should be the next page. Well, yes. Here for the videos on the left, a slip cast style, which I'll explain in a minute, and on the right, the deposition. It just shows that once I will introduce the team, that that we've tried to assemble, at least to the best of my knowledge, a team of experts in this and in other aspects as well, so that we can really start at the state of the art of this robotic interaction with clay materials, and not start from scratch, but actually from the very highest level of innovation that exists. It's also, the slip casting will be used for this particular tile, which is also post-digital in a sense that it responds to the environment. And as you can see here, it's a white tile that has a specific hydrochromic bacteria which grows on it, and it turns through watering it and through assimilating humidity from the air, turns into this blue Estonian sky blue. So this is also responsive, so you can imagine, as you can see here, here it turns from red to blue, but actually can also turn from transparent and white to blue. So this is also responsive, it's also an aspect of responsiveness and interaction and participation, so you can imagine the public at Venice watering some of these tiles and to turn them actually more Estonian blue. And at the same time, we expect the pavilion to perform climatically and environmentally, as it will be able, through the materiality of the clay itself, to potentially dehumidify the space surrounding the pavilion, and also to lower the temperature by a few degrees. And if you've ever been to the Venice Biennale, that surely will be of great comfort. Maybe just quickly to introduce myself, since I'm not from Estonia. My name is Marjan Colletti. I'm actually a professor of post-digital practice at UCL in London. I'm also a head of Institute of Experimental Architecture at the University of Innsbruck, where I run Rex Lab. We've assembled together with my co-curators, the Estonian liaisons, an international team of experts, which will guarantee that both the publication, as Pino being the founder of an Italian publisher, Marcos Cruz, which was the developer of that tile with the student, Maria Voetaki from Greece. I think it's quite important actually to bridge north and south to find in Venice and to debate these wider important issues. She's also very expert. She's organized more than over 60 academic conferences. And Tom Kovac from RMIT to even widen further the discourse about these topics internationally, which is also expert in organizing student competition at biennales, like at the Venice Biennale already, and the Malaysian Biennale in September. Apart from that, there will be 4 members of a curatorial advisor team, which will support us. Peter Kukovs and Kjetil Thorsen as representative for more technological and innovative and experimental approach to architecture. And the 2 ladies, Dr. Pisik and Dr. Chinchilla, as being real expert of knowledge transfer from high-tech to low-tech, and being 2 main protagonists in this aspect. Equally very important, and also a way to guarantee the smooth delivery of this relatively ambitious project, the inclusion and the collaboration with universities, hence to allow match funding and research money to support this endeavor. I'm very glad, obviously, to have the Estonian Academy of Arts on board and various universities, most importantly one in Italy as well, through the local, I'm Italian, so I can help with language as well, but surely there's another network that needs to be connected to, and associated practices which will deliver, as you can see here, kind of the old state of the art of robotic printing to start not from scratch, but actually from the cutting edge of this. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you. So, time for questions. Don't you have the mic?
Thank you for the presentation. I think I have 3 questions. One is that where would what you present on this slide here, this shelter pavilion be located? If it's inside Arsenal, then it certainly has a very specific spatial condition to be exhibited. Or what is the potential to be for this structure to be viewed from outside rather than walking within it and seeing it from below, which we didn't really see in the presentation? That's the first question. The second one is that I truly appreciate the effort and direction to create a network between universities, researchers, labs, etc. But I think I missed the point of engaging Tom Kovac, that I know and appreciate well as a colleague, in organizing. Is there a student competition planned, or what is the relation there? That remained quite vague. And the third question relates to the field of experts that you've proposed to engage. For instance, you did present Jenny Sabin's knitted pavilion as a reference point, and as an example from different state-of-the-art projects, or where you get your inspiration from. But on the other hand, Jenny Sabin, for instance, is a very well-known researcher specifically in ceramics, and working at Cornell together with biologists, and doing amazing work, especially in ceramics, through her own lab, as well as together with her students. So I guess the third question is about the range of specialists or advisors that you've gathered around you. How did you decide who to engage or who to leave out?
Okay, I mean, thank you very much for your questions. There are quite a lot, if I remember correctly. The first one was about the siting and the position of the pavilion. I think the Arsenale would be an ideal condition, obviously, because of the proximity to the water. So whether it's indoors or outdoors is something to be discussed. Obviously, the potential of the clay, especially if it's, caked, kind of baked, is that has like a very strong possibility to withstand the environment. So that would be ideal. One of the possibilities maybe to have it partly covered, and that's at the end where you have like there's a roof. I think Hans Hollein did once a water garden there. That's a possibility maybe to locate part of the exhibition, of the exhibit, at least are covered by that roof, and to have this then to interact more with the environment, so that rain and atmospheric conditions might actually allow this chromatic change to happen. The second question was about the network. Tom, I've collaborated with, and I think it would be good to expand this kind of research topic that we are proposing to a wider network, and he has organized various 100-year cities, similar student competitions with universities. Maribor, I think a couple of years ago, where I contributed as well.
Sorry to interrupt, but you're not planning a student competition now? Do I understand
It's part
correctly?
of the extended programs.
Okay.
So it would be a competition where, kind of according to a brief, we might look at the condition in Estonia to see whether, kind of according to this brief, some of it could be extrapolated into a series of briefs that various universities around the world might take as a way to engage with students towards, kind of these questions. So it could be someone else, but we decided, and also with the field of experts, to at this stage to rely to a network that partly already exists, because the coordination, obviously, of a large team of curators needs management, and to keep it within a framework of feasibility at this very moment. These particular people have been invited. I think Jenny Sabin's work was a small icon in the first stage, just to show the variability of kind of the morphological diversity that ceramics can be used in. Surely, for instance, at the conference, she would be a major kind of speaker, or potentially a keynote that might surely contribute to the discourse about this. But at the moment, she's not directly involved. All the people that are listed there have been asked to contribute, and they have agreed, so it's not just random names. Would you like to add to it?
Any more questions? Triin.
Have you estimated also the cost of the thing?
Please talk into the mic, so it's...
Okay,
cost.
Because
we have the...
Sure, cost, it's an issue. As I said, one of the ideas also behind the strategy to have a relatively large network of academic institutions to be part of it is to allow, by inviting universities also at the same time, it's also an invite to contribute financially through research, match funds to this endeavor, which is surely ambitious for the money which is allocated. The other one, I think, which is part of this post-digital arena, in a sense, is also to think about architecture as a practice, or as a practice and as a discipline, could also become more entrepreneurial in its way it delivers and does design. So we're thinking also to kick off, if we were allowed to do so, with Kickstarters projects, where we might allow backers to contribute, and if you wanted to contribute with €5, you would get a little 3D printed piece of clay, which might be part of the pavilion, almost like becoming, or to adopt one of those voxels. And the more you would give, the larger the piece would be. So there's a potential there to do that. Also, through production, surely more of these will need to be produced, so they will also be on sale before, during, and after, as a way also to contribute to the cost.
And it will be produced where the pavilion will be produced, actually?
It will be produced in various locations. That's to do with management, with shipping, and so on and so forth. Part of these teams and the practices, so there's one in Estonia, one in the UK, one in Innsbruck at the moment, which will be capable of delivering part of this. It's also an idea to see whether the local context or the local material contributes to a specificity of the results, and then which are choreographed and orchestrated into the whole design at the end of the day.
If I may, the work very much still relies on digital technologies. Where is the post-digital? Why is it post-digital?
Well, the digital is, if you take it literally in a sense, which is kind of interacting with the non-physical domain, has the difficulty of being extracted into an actual kind of realm of materiality. And the post-digital, as we tried to explain at the beginning, is a larger discourse which is happening all over the world. There's different approaches. I think the first team also mentioned it in a potentially totally opposite way, which is interesting and actually fuels the possibility to this to be a longer discourse. The digital, you could actually just take it and 3D print it by a digital material, which would be plastics. I don't think that there is this knowledge and expertise exchange that the post-digital is looking for, which is basically asking an analog tradition of making with hands and an expertise of and skills and sensibility and sensitivity with materials to be kind of imported and fused and merged with the digital artisanry, which already exists, which is kind of the capability of controlling geometry, environmental, and so on, and morphological complexity through simulations, but is nevertheless detached from the world of actual materiality. So if it was a 3D printed material out of plastic, one might argue that it's actually digital, but by having also a quite intense participation of handmaking and skills and knowledge which are related to clay and pottery, we would like to argue that's potentially one example of what post-digital might mean.
Thank you. If there is no more question, then we again thank you for your presentation.